Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. And it's been a while. I know we have a special guest star here is Jeremiah. He's been here last time. He's from Paneloid's podcast. He also has he has an Instagram with Paulo Rivera's collection. We have yet to have him here because I forgot to email him, but that's okay. But here we're gonna talk
Yeah,
about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because it just came out. Well, came out what 2 weeks ago, and
roughly,
so
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
roughly 2 weeks ago.
yeah.
And honestly, I think it's in my top 10, probably top five MCU movies of all time so far. Given that we're in phase five now, I'm excited, but we want to start with hot takes. I don't know if anybody wants to start right now, or should I go
You first.
first? Okay, cool. Given that we know about Ezra Miller's history and this movie, Flashpoint, but I won't name names, but they're all talking about the movie and how great it is, and we're just seeing other content creators kind of bash them and say, I don't know why you're supporting this after Ezra Miller's history and the sexual assault and all that stuff. I just want to say, like, not every content creator is going to be your savior. Kind of like Kendrick says, J. Cole's not your savior, I'm not your savior, content creators are not your saviors.
Separating the art from the artist is is something that a lot of people harp on, and I feel like it's important at times. And this is one of those examples. I mean, if you care a lot about the Flash, if you want to see a Flash movie or a sequel to Batman by Michael Keaton, it seems, go see this movie. But I mean, just because you see Flash doesn't mean that you approve of everything that Ezra Miller has done. That's not the same thing. You can
Yeah.
be against the actions of that person and still enjoy a movie if that's what you want to do. Now, if your morality is strong enough to where you don't want to see the movie because of the actions of one person, you have every right to do that.
Yeah.
But I guess it's where you draw the line in separating the art from the artist.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because when he was talking about that, it's social networks and Instagram and Facebook with all this in our disposal. It's a lot easier to criticize with actors and actresses for doing something behind the scenes or something they did like to a person, or someone was sexually harassed, or someone sexually harassed somebody else, and it's easy to go online and be like, we're not going to watch this movie because Ezra Miller's here. No, like years ago, there've been a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Uh, Director Roman Polanski, things that some of the actors were doing back in the day. Richard Pryor, you
Bill
know,
John
Cosby.
Wayne.
yeah, Bill Cosby, and all these
Oh,
people,
what's
and
that guy?
you know,
Woody something? Woody Allen?
yeah,
Oh
Woody
God.
Allen. Yeah, there's so much, but yet we get to sit down and actually watch these movies, and they're still talked about because they were written well, they were directed well. So there, it's like, yeah, Woody Allen was great. He did a great job writing these movies or directing them. So we don't start to talk about. We don't really talk about like, oh, but did you know he did this with this teenager or something like that? And then it's, you know, I guess our generation is easy to separate. Like it would separate the art from the artist, and just see it as a film, as what it is. You know, who knows? We might never see Ezra Miller again. You know, or maybe he'll get clean up and do better. Look what happened with Shia LaBeouf. Well, everything that was going, he went into hiding or whatever, and we didn't see him again, and now he's coming back into theaters and slowly coming in. And he was a great actor, and there was a lot of things that I would have liked to see him do, but because of all that happened, he had to go away for a bit to sort of kind of fix himself. And social media has a way of literally just destroying a person's life in an instant.
It can be a weapon. Social media can
Yeah,
be a weapon now.
yeah,
The old man yells at cloud. Like 20 years ago, first
Yeah.
opening days of MySpace,
Yeah.
the biggest thing you could do was hurt your friend's feeling that they weren't in your top 8. And now, like, people get doxxed, and everyone is so quick to criticize. You're 100% right. But if you don't want to jeopardize your morals to go see Flash, don't feel like you have to. Like, I will go see Flash. I don't know if I'll go see it opening night, but I am interested to see it. A lot of people have a lot of good things to say about it. And again, movies are made to have an experience. Unfortunately, sometimes the people in those movies aren't good people, and you have to decide for yourself how you feel about that.
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to go next?
Hot takes. Ooh, I don't know. I think New York Comic Con needs to be nicer about their press let-in. Is that a hot take right now?
No, I think you're right.
No. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm happy with where we're at in films. I'm happy where we're at in comics for the most part. I mean, the Kamala Khan dying in Amazing Spider-Man is going to be a bit weird. But I'd rather watch it play out and then judge it on how it's executed versus how we're told it's going to be executed. So I'd rather watch and see. And I mean, it could be done well. It could be done poorly. It could be a Civil War II situation, but it could be a Civil War I situation. We don't fully know yet until it plays out. So that's my take on that. Yeah.
I think they killed her off. They're always gonna bring characters like that back.
Yeah, she's getting a movie soon. There's no way she's not going to be shown back up in comics in a few months.
But I think
which is really weird. They would do that so early on knowing that she's
so
coming back
quickly.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But I think they'll bring her back and probably make her a mutant. And that's probably
because she's in Humans in comics, so and they want to make her a mutant because of the show. And she'll probably get powers closer to her show powers than her actual powers.
It might change a little bit of her origin. Who knows? I mean, we'll see what happens.
Maybe we're gonna get an ultimate version of Kamala Khan with the new Ultimate storyline coming out. I forgot the name of it off the top of my head. I want to say it's Ultimate Extinction, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm probably wrong there, but yeah. Maybe we're going to get an Ultimate Kamala Khan, which is more in line with the movie version. So, also super stoked about Across the Spider-Verse. I'm beyond ready for that.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still the #1 movie for a lot of people. I can't wait.
I'm happy for that they picked Oscar Isaac to do Spider-Man 20.
Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, he voiced it at the end of the first film, but it's like now we get to hear him and how he portrays that character, and he looks much bigger in here. Like it looks massive. Like he just looks scary compared to how he looks in the comics. Like he's more Spider-Man in here, but here it's like he looks like much bigger.
Massive.
Like
he's massive.
Yeah, like he can take on
the little bit we've seen. He's so passionate, and I love that. I absolutely love how passionate he seems so far in the trailers. I am a big D-list, E-list villain fan, so the fact that the Spot is the villain in this movie makes me so stoked.
Yeah, I do like that. Joey, do you have a hot take?
Right now, I don't know if you guys been following Mark Millar's series of comics that he's been publishing. I guess through he's been working with Netflix. Whether or not these shows are ever gonna come to fruition, I don't know. But he's been going in on writing these stories. He's done so far. He's in part 4 of the Magic Order, so he's writing that story. It's sort of like Harry Potter meets the Mafia type sort of feel to it. He just did a Nemesis book. I don't know if you know Nemesis. He's the one that's completely white and assassin. The way Nemesis ended it is going to be a spoiler. He ends up running into the fraternity from Wanted, which is one of Mark
Interesting.
Miller's stories. So
Yeah.
now the next upcoming issues is called Big Game, and pretty much Nemesis is going to join the fraternity, and it seems like all the comic books that he's been writing is going to be included into that series.
Are they
So he's-
drawing in Jupiter's Legacy at all, or because that already got canceled on Netflix?
I'm not sure if he's going to include, but it's pretty much considered Miller World, what he's calling
Yeah,
it.
Miller World.
So yeah, so it's like I wouldn't be
Kick-Ass is in
surprised if
Miller
he's
World too.
yeah, and from the looks of it, the cover of it, it shows I forgot his name. It's such a simple name.
Worlds
it was
collide.
the main, yeah, with the main character from Wanted. I totally forgot his name. It was like a simple. Well, anyway, he's sort of leading the fraternity. And if the picture shows him sitting down and he's holding Kick-Ass's mask. And then you see the wands from Magic Order. You see a lot of the costumes from sort of the characters that are scattered throughout Miller World. So he's going to include all that in that he's been writing into this whole universe. It's all going to collide into this one bunch, which is pretty crazy because Wanted was all basic.
The smartest thing a creator-owned person can do. Like John Hickman has this whole plan right now with Substack, if that's still to fruition. We got Miller World.
Yeah,
it's genius. IP out the ass.
Oh yeah, it's great because at some point Miller wasn't. I mean, he was just doing Kick-Ass, but then he started doing Jupiter, and he started doing some of the stuff for the Magic Order. He was doing this comic called Prodigy. He was doing this. He just finished something called The Ambassadors, something called The Nightclub, which is like Mexican wrestler vampires. So, but
also Kingsman is Miller World. I just double checked. Yeah,
Kingsman as well. Yeah, Kingsman as well. And the cool thing about it is that he has the best artists at his disposal. Like he's worked with every single artist. George Jimenez has worked with him. Simon Bianchi has been working with him.
Frank Quietly.
Yeah, and it's just great to actually see. It's just him writing and him bringing in artists to come in, and they do such a wonderful job, like illustrating all the work. So I can't wait to see what's gonna come up next with this series and bringing Wanted into this universe now.
Speaking about bringing artists and writers into a different world, did you know that Humberto Ramos, the artist for Spider-Man's actually voicing one of the Spider guys yeah.
Oh, dude, that's so exciting. Ed Brubaker was in the background of Winter Soldier.
Wow.
He was the guy who created Winter Soldier.
I think I remember that one. Yeah.
I did not know this until recently. If you watch the old Crow movie with Brendan Lee, James O'Barr is raiding the burning pawn shop. He's the guy carrying out the TV. James O'Barr, the creator of The Crow. So I love when they do that. I absolutely love when they do that. And like the nods in the Netflix shows, Slott's towing in She-Hulk, because Dan Slott wrote She-Hulk for such a long time. It was his towing company when final episode. Yeah. So when they do stuff like that, Bill Sienkiewicz's psychiatric wing in Moon Knight, because he was a big Moon Knight creator. If you go back and watch the final episode, the name of the hospital is the Sienkiewicz Asylum.
That's cool.
So when they do stuff like that, I love it. I absolutely love it.
I don't know. Did you hear? I think that Adam Sandberg is voicing Scarlet Spider.
Ben Reilly. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
He's a great actor, and like Ben doesn't have the comedic chops as Peter does.
Yeah,
but he still tries to quib, and I feel like Andy Samberg failing
at that.
It'll be funnier.
Yeah, he's great at that. Yeah.
Hey, that was definitely
man. Okay, well, we'll get into Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because I think it's time. I mean, what out of 1 through 10, what do you guys rate it? Or like,
I don't think I can count that high.
You know.
Yeah.
It is a 10. If I'm held to that scale, it is without a doubt a 10. Joey?
It's a definite 10. It's a definite 10.
Yeah, it's a beautiful all around emotional yet scary in certain cases. A perfect 10 movie. I mean, I just didn't expect that coming into a Guardians of the Galaxy movie after Guardians of the Galaxy 2. But then I'm like, it's James Gunn, man. He loves these characters.
Yeah,
He's gonna have fun
it's
with it.
crazy.
His
I was
soundtrack is gonna
watching.
be
Oh
superb.
yeah, yeah. I was watching Volume 1 and Volume 2 back to back, and just looking back at one because I remember you text me and said it looks like it could beat Part 1. So I started watching Part 1 and really thinking about Part 3, and really like he's right. It knocks it. It's. I mean, the first one is sort of an origin story and how they all meet. But this one had a large ensemble of people, and everyone had the time to shine, which was great. No one got left behind. You got to see more. Like even with a little bit of Cosmo, we got to understand what kind of character he is, and
Cheers.
the fact that they actually showed Howard the duck for a little
Yeah,
bit.
Howard again. That
I
was
didn't get to
Yeah.
see him. Did I miss
He was
something?
at the poker game.
He was at the poker game.
I probably went to the bathroom. I think that's what I was holding it in. It's probably like at the 2-hour mark. I was like, nah, I gotta go.
Piss in a cup. Okay, I do have to say this. This is a hot take. I meant to make this in the hot take.
Go.
I loved Guardians 3. I loved Wakanda Forever. Marvel, cut fucking 30 minutes off these movies, please, for my bladder's sake. I pay
Yeah,
$40
brother.
to go see these movies on opening night in IMAX, and I miss it because I have to piss so bad. The movies are fantastic. Don't get me wrong. The movies are absolutely fantastic. They're just so long.
Yeah, they need intermission on these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
They
for
really
sure,
do, though.
for
Yeah,
sure.
they do. Yeah.
What was your favorite Easter egg?
Ooh. I'm gonna need to take a minute on this one. You could go first.
My two favorite Easter eggs. One is the name of Peter's grandfather. Those unaware, Peter's dad in the comics is not Ego.
No, it's not.
Peter's dad is Jay Son. So the fact that his grandfather is Jason, that made me so happy. Just because it's a little teaser. And then I love Phyla and the fact that Phyla showed up in the after credit scene, and she was technically in the movie as well, but you didn't know she was Phyla until the after credit scene.
Mhm.
That made me really excited. I really wanted Moondragon, but I will be happy with Phyla because if we got Phyla, Moondragon shouldn't be far behind. So.
Yeah, it did. And to see the classic Guardians pop up again with Sylvester Stallone and
Oh yes.
yeah, it was really cool. I just love this guy. What's his name? The dragon that sort of he becomes a sorcerer supreme at some point.
I
in the
actually did. I
comic.
think that's my favorite Easter egg.
He was just coming out of nowhere, just opening portals, and I was like, "Oh, that was just coming out of nowhere, opening portals," and it was really cool to see.
Yeah,
And we got to
I
see
shook my head, I was
more,
like, "What?"
yeah, and to see Michael Rosenbaum actually do more dialogue in
Yes.
in the
And not
series,
just
which was
stand
really-
there.
Yeah.
Although,
Yeah.
I mean, him as Martin X, that's perfect casting. That is absolutely perfect casting. That is something that James Gunn did with these three movies. He cast them nearly perfectly. There wasn't a misstep in terms of important characters. Stallone as Starhawk, you couldn't ask for anything better. He nailed it so well in just what is his total screen time? We're talking like 9 minutes, maybe.
Yeah,
Total screen time as Starhawk, and he's exactly what I would picture Starhawk to be. So
I got a little dread. I got a little dread vibe from him when he was.
Oh,
like that.
don't say
Yeah.
that.
I like it. He showed a lot of presence and showed a lot of like leadership just
Yeah.
in the conversation. Even when he came in Volume 2 when he was talking to Yondu, like he there was so much leadership and so you could see the respect between the two, and he had so much presence there. And we only got to see it for a couple of minutes there, and then at the end, and that's it. Which is funny. I didn't get to see Michelle Yao. I was hoping that they would pull because she was at the end of Volume 2 and she became part of the
Yeah, she was
classic.
Nikki.
Yeah. Surprised she didn't pop up here. She's probably doing everything everywhere all at once.
What I really liked about it was that in the first one, it was a little bit, everybody got their story kind of done very well. In the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it was a little bit about Peter. It was introducing, all these characters, but it was mostly a little bit more about, Gamora, right? In the second one, it was mostly about Peter and his father, and then in this one, it was about Rocket. And in between those three, it was growing up and Drax kind of,
But
becoming
you also
Growing up.
you also have to mention in Infinity War because we got a little bit more
A
backstory
lot of
on
character
Gamora.
development in Infinity
Yeah,
War.
yeah,
with
that's it.
Gamora, that was really cool. That if you get to see all of them in that sort of timeline, you get to see like we got a lot of information from all these characters, more than everyone else actually.
I mean, there were so many great acting moments in this movie, but if you take the trilogy and if you want to include Infinity War and Endgame part of this, these 5 movies, Zoe as Gamora had probably the widest range just
Facts.
from the first 2 movies, and then with the way that she was able to turn the character in a new direction but still be so familiar to everyone else in Volume 3. She fucking nailed it.
Yeah,
Like absolutely nailed it. Dave Bautista as Drax, I mean, kind of coming full circle. Like this movie didn't miss.
yeah.
And to combat the haters a little bit, there's a little bit of online hate about Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't big, beefy monster Adam Warlock. And I understand that. I want big, beefy, sexy Adam Warlock. But if you read Fantastic Four 66 and 67, when he first comes out of the cocoon, and Thor 169, if you read his first few appearances, Adam Warlock is dumb as shit. He's a baby. He's exactly what he was in this movie to an extent. And the fact that James Gunn was able to make a comedic version and a comic accurate version at the same time, again, leans more to James Gunn's genius. But yeah, all the people hating on Adam Warlock, read Adam Warlock.
Because he was just born. Like, technically, he was just born. Like, he came out of his cocoon. They forced him to come out of his cocoon and not really know and explore knowledge other than I have power and I'm indestructible in a way.
And I need to grab this thing.
And
I don't know what this thing is, but I need to grab this thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then for him to kind of care about this little creature, and then and then them giving him a second chance. I don't know how to describe it. I just didn't expect that in a way. Like, I was like, okay, I know he joins Guardians, but like, how the hell are they gonna twist it or change it or like?
He doesn't. The thing is, he doesn't have anybody right now.
Yeah,
he lost his mom.
He lost his
mom.
So
it's like are all gone.
Yeah, so he's by himself. So they did it well for him to join the team, and they saved his life. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like literally one of them now.
Yeah.
Lost everybody. Rocket lost everybody. Peter lost his mom. He has his grandfather on Earth, but he doesn't want to go until later on. And then what's her name? Mantis. Well,
yeah.
Mantis lost everybody, right?
Yeah, because she didn't have an extra the only person that she had was it was only Peter was the only because they shared the same father. That's about it.
But they did it very quickly. If you rewatch the end credit scene, it shows you that Adam has learned a lot very quickly. He makes a very, very deep reference to a musician. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it just shows you how quickly he's advanced, which is another like thing to lean into with this new Guardians team.
Yeah.
So we're in phase 5, as you mentioned earlier on. We've had a lot of villains. Who's the worst?
Killing half the universe.
Intention is important, though. He did it with good intention.
Yeah, Thanos did it with well, where he thought it was good intentions.
Yes, yeah.
So we look at him as a
villain,
villain
yeah.
because he's destroying everything, but he's doing this to feed more people, help more lives. Which it's like the whole thing is like the villain always believes he's the hero of his own story.
Yep.
And Thanos had sort of a sort of a philosophy of how he saw things, which in some way is like this kind of makes sense. That even if you think about it, when you saw that scene when Hawkeye was urinating in his show, and he saw Thanos was right. In some way, he kind of sort of agreed a bit in that.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's like, you know what?
In a way,
It kind of,
yeah, you could see it.
yeah, but oh man.
I mean, in a
We've
way,
had a lot.
You could see it.
But I think James Gunn wrote his villains very like bloodthirsty, and it didn't matter what. It seemed like everything created, they were doing something for themselves, to be a ruler, to control things. The first villain he did, what was his name? In Volume 1.
Dude, he's blue. He starts with the R.
Ronan.
Wow.
Sorry.
So seeing, this is how we are when it's just me and Jose.
Yeah.
It's like we haven't had sleep, and all these names are like. But if we're down on a sofa figuring things out, it would be like we would just come up with the names. Like it's almost like being on camera. It's almost like, oh, what is this person's name? But
you nailed that. You nailed that. James Gunn's villains all act selfishly. And they only got more selfish as we went along. Like Ronan was a selfish asshole, but he was a selfish asshole for a reason.
Yeah.
That reason was Big Daddy Purple.
Yeah.
Ego was just an asshole. And
I mean, given that his name is Ego. Yeah. Yeah.
But in my opinion, High Evolutionary was easily the worst. Like,
oh man,
all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, High Evolutionary was the worst in the best way. It was the worst.
Yeah, no, I have to agree on that. It was just terrible. Like, even he created an entire planet full of living beings and just wanted to destroy it
multiple times.
Yeah,
he did it multiple times.
I swear, he's like that kid in kindergarten that you draw something and you be like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he just decides to just erase the entire thing,
and then grabs a magnifying glass and burns
it. Yeah, he just sets the paper on fire. It's like, start over.
Fun comics fact. Wolverine's origin was supposed to be he was a Wolverine that High Evolutionary experimented on. That was supposed to be his origin. So it's a fun fact for you.
Given that he's very hairy.
Len Wein didn't go that direction. I love the fact that Rocket finally said raccoon. I absolutely love that he finally said that. I love that we got King Groot in the after credit scene.
Yes, that motherfucker was huge, wasn't he?
Yeah, I know.
Dude was huge.
But I love the original Groot that we got in Volume 1. The more in line with the Andy Lanning and Dan Abnett run, that version of Groot. Scotty Young did a lot of covers with that looked absolutely beautiful. I love that version. I do like me a big beefy King Groot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. That motherfucker was huge. He had like a crown and everything. Just a boulder and very sandy. Again, they would go back to the sand, just like Star Wars. But anyways, um, what is the most emotional scene you think?
Can I fly with you? Like I kept it together through all of it until that moment. That was the moment that got me. The when Rocket is reunited with Teef and Floor and Lila, and he's ready to go. And can I fly with you? Not yet. That my nephew went with us. He was inconsolable for half the movie. Because those Rocket flashbacks are tough.
Yeah,
They
they
are
were.
tough.
Joey?
I think that entire sequence where he takes him out of the cage to figure out how did he know how to mix the chemicals properly to make better
I created you.
creatures.
How did you know? Yeah, that. Like,
Yeah, and just to see Rocket sort of kind of like fling in fear, like it just that just I felt terrible. Like I want to say, come over here. Like you wanted to like hold him because he was like terrified. And then when he says, "Yeah, we could go home," and then he's like, "Wait a second, what makes you think you're gonna go anywhere?" And to see him after that, it's like we're getting out of here. Like he was determined to save his friends because they're not going anywhere. And just that whole sequence alone, if like back to back to back, and then losing Layla, and then losing Teeth, and it was just sad. And I just felt like so terrified of him. Like, it's like just. I mean, to be honest, I would have loved to see like how he sort of evolved and how he sort of became Rocket in that sense. Like you could see, like he became a hard person. Like even looking back at all the dialogue that he has said, or even when he was having that argument with Yondu in the prison of like, "You're just like me," and even that
Oh,
part where
they weren't actually in prison. They were actually already on the
on the
ship.
ship.
yeah, we're on the
I
ship.
just
Yeah, and
watched.
that yeah,
I was
like that.
watching I was watching while it was.
Yeah, and even that conversation between him and Thor in Infinity War said, "Yeah, I could lose some
Yeah.
friends," and and it's like it takes you now scene 3. It takes you back to all those scenes where you saw how passionate he was in those moments. Where it's like he called me vermin. This is what he, it's like that. I didn't ask to be ripped apart, put back together, ripped apart, and put back together. And I could imagine what Nebula and all the members were looking at when they were seeing the video and
Oh,
Nebula crying.
that's yeah. That's mine. It's like
That was
when they were
another moment that like got me was when Gamora went after Peter, and she goes, "Well, I'm family, and so is he." Like,
Yeah. And even oh man, even seeing Peter just passionate, like just crying hysterically, trying to bring him back, just broke me. Like Pratt did a hell of a good job. In just thinking about the fact that this is just sort of like plushie on top of a bed, and he has to show emotion that he's dying. And that scene made me feel like, man, I hope Rocket makes it. Like I really hope he makes it through. I was gonna make it, but it's just to see Peter literally just cry, and it's like using sort of the way of what a human would do to bring a person back to life. He wasn't even trying to use the tech. He was literally pushing his chest in and trying to bring him back to life.
chest compressions.
Yeah, yeah.
Jose, what was yours? Most emotional moment?
I think it was definitely what you said. Can I fly? And then it was honestly just watching everybody's reaction and not really seeing the experiment or what the High Evolutionary was doing to Rocket and creating him and imagine the other creatures, but just like watching their reaction, not knowing knowing what was going on, but not seeing it. That's so smart as a director to not to just do that to us. Just imagine that happening. Can you literally live with yourself?
Tough.
Yeah.
That's what makes him like the worst villain in MCU so far.
Oh no, man, it's
In a good
terrible.
It's gonna be tough to beat him,
Yeah.
especially after the emotion that they gave us. It's gonna be really tough to beat. I think someone can do it with the right villain. It, it'll be tough to beat him.
Yeah.
That society
Is
that
that-
they were on, it kind of reminded me of like a Doctor Who kind of episode.
Yeah, they definitely
Yeah.
had Doctor Who-esque features.
Yes.
Is the best
Yeah.
way to phrase that for sure.
Yeah. It wasn't too bad too. The cosmetics and all that stuff.
Yeah, no complaints there. And the scene where Drax is like laying on the couch, and Peter keeps yelling at him, and then we get the first F-bomb in the MCU, and I think it was used perfectly.
Well, I thought
I think-
it was used in Endgame, wasn't it?
No, they didn't say the F-bomb in Endgame.
No.
Oh. Okay.
Peter just always gave the finger.
Yeah,
Right.
That's and he did it twice. He gave the finger in the first film, and he gave the finger in Infinity Wars
War,
when
right,
he
yeah.
I love that Peter accepted blame. Like they could have vented everything if he didn't
Yeah.
get crazy. Like he fully accepted that it's my fault, which
Yeah.
it was, but I don't want to say it.
Well,
You know, it's funny because James Gunn said he would not have had Peter do that. If he would have written it, Peter wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't have done that in Infinity War.
Yeah. And I think he wouldn't have killed Gamora, even though he had plans on killing her. I think Volume 2, I believe. There was plans. But it was kind of like there was some talk, but he didn't know if it was Gamora that he would. I didn't think he would have had Gamora die in Infinity War.
when
but,
you talk,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, I gotta finish.
When you talked about Zoe having range, I mean, we gotta give it to Karen Gillian too, because I mean, she went from being a world's biggest douchebag of a sister and still following Thanos to and literally going psychopath in the second one when she comes in with the ship and attacking Gamora like that, but then slowly transitions into this nice cool sister, and then I don't know if she really does have a crush on Peter, but then really starts to become a mother kind of the group, and then we really see that in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 where she overtakes that because Gamora's not there anymore. She's with the Ravengers. And now you go back and you see that scene with the couch. It's like, enough, Drax. And the whole banter with her and Mantis. I mean, come on, it was great.
So I'll give the point to Zoe for range. I will give the point to Karen for evolution of the character. Like she evolved into the highest form. Like the end movie, I Need You Here with Me, Drax. You're a father. Like, and now I can't hear that song, the Dark Days. I can't hear that without getting a sad smile. Like a I don't know how to describe it. It's that song is now embedded in me with good and bad feelings.
Well, it's like the journey has ended, but the journey was crazy. And the journey is wild.
That's the way, that's the best way to describe that.
Yeah. And you saw Gamora going to a different family, but still having fun, happy and stuff like that, which was
still
nice.
thinking about him.
Yeah.
Bet we were fun.
And talking about also the action sequences in the film, I felt it was so good. It felt like they were, you know how sometimes there's action sequences. Was it really necessary to go through this much crazy in certain films? Like it's like it could have been settled in some way. But I felt like there was these moments were just right. There was just those right, perfect moments of to bring in these action sequences. You know, I love when they open the gate and a whole bunch of people just in the ship, and they go on a all out war with these.
I mean, I hate when it's like kind of like the old Transformers you see where it's just shaky camera and everyone's fighting. And you're just like, I'm fucking dizzy. I can't. Like, please, can you
Yeah.
have it at one set? But the cinematography for the hallway fight was just beautiful. Like
Yeah.
you just go in and you start to travel and you see things and you just see Gamora
Yeah.
killing somebody in half or Rocket Raccoon with the what's it called? He had the grenade launcher or something like that or a
Yep.
rocket launcher. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that was so beautiful.
yeah, and the fight at the end was great because I thought it was just going to be Rocket, and I was like, all of a sudden when he got off the ceiling with when he was like pushed with the telekinesis, and then he just got off. All of a sudden, he shot him, and then everyone just started nowhere beating the crap out of him, which was great. It was like it wasn't just Rocket. You could see like, no, we're gonna protect our boy here. This
Friendly
is we're
reminder.
a team.
Friendly reminder. We did not see him die.
No,
No.
so actually Drax picks him up and takes him to nowhere.
Really? He's on nowhere? I missed
Yeah.
that.
So Drax picked him up and actually took him to nowhere.
Mm.
The red herring with Peter dying was probably the only part in the movie where I was like, come on. But then it led to the Adam Warlock moment, which was worth it. But yeah, that was the one time in the movie where I was like, really? But then they redeemed themselves. I will admit that.
The
Yeah.
All
red
for a
herring.
Zune.
The red herring? Can you remind me?
So Peter went back for the Zune and didn't have enough energy.
Yes.
And so he was like about to die. And then Adam Warlock showed up in like the Sistine Chapel moment and then grabbed him and brought him back.
So like on Facebook or Instagram, they have like memes of like there's like, oh, this is how the movie went, but they show memes
Oh yeah,
they
spoilers
showed that and I was
without
like,
context.
when is this gonna happen? Like I was like, I remember that. I was like, when is this? Oh, there you go. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
it was nice. It was nice. Damn it, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about. Emotional. Oh, did you expect somebody to pop up in this movie?
Dragon. But that's just for me. No one really jumped out at me that was missing in a way.
I was kind of expecting or hoping that they would show something along the lines of uh after Shang-Chi and his band's kind of
Hmm.
sending a signal, like maybe a little bit more of that. Because I was waiting for that for quite a while. I mean, that's been in Phase 4, and
Honestly, which is weird because if you think about Infinity War, every single movie was connected to the next in some way, and it was leading to bringing the Avengers to Loki to Thanos to everything. Here is slowly making it, and not even the shows are even like grasping on that
Yeah, we're
as
definitely
much.
spider webbing out.
Yeah,
But Loki made it possible to go in so many different directions.
yeah.
And it's still kind of come back. What do you think the beacon is? Do you think it's calling?
it was funny because when you think of Quantumania, remember they had who sent out the beacon? His daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So I thought it was like a certain Kang that probably a variant of Kang that had to do with building, the quasar bands for Kamala or her bangles, or Shang-Chi's, rings or bands. But like a certain person that had to deal with that we might have to, probably they won't fight or anything like that, but the other day I was thinking about the Young Avengers and how like we have uh, uh
Almost everyone.
almost, but I feel like they're missing somebody. Is it me?
We have Hawkeye. We have Can technically. Um, we have Speed. We have Patriot. Because
Oh yes,
Isaiah
yes.
Bradley's grandson. Missing Hulkling, but secret invasion's about to happen. And Hulkling is a scroll. So maybe we get Hulkling in Secret Invasion. I throw Kamala Khan in there because she's young.
Yeah, I think so. I would add her. Yeah,
And America Chavez.
America
Yeah.
Chavez.
Oh, that perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, 7 that's plenty for an Avengers team. Yeah, man. I'd pay to see that movie twice. I want the beacons to be calling Galactus or Nihilus. That's what I would like. Because Annihilus fits the bill that those bands came from the negative zone in a sense. And same with Kamala Khan's. And Annihilus or Galactus, I mean, ties in with the Fantastic Four. So
Yeah. That makes sense. I'm kind of surprised they haven't mentioned anything about what they're doing with the mutants yet, you know?
yeah, that is
Well,
tough.
let's see what happens in Deadpool 3. For some strange reason, they just casted Halle Berry to come back as Storm.
It's not some strange reason. It's a valid reason.
It's a valid no, yeah, but it's I understand bringing the Deadpool 2 squad back, and just bringing Wolverine to, because everybody wants to see Wolverine and Deadpool together. But now they're bringing Halle Berry back as Storm.
Oh, we
I'm
did get
wondering
Deadpool and Wolverine, but we don't talk
I'm
about.
just wondering if they end up somehow opening up that doorway to bring in mutants. Even mentioning in the idea that they exist in some way or another. Like it's got to be there.
Well, they said that it's Deadpool 3 is dealing with the TVA.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could get a bunch of different mutants in different timelines. If Halle Berry's coming back, better put a fucking mohawk on her. If you're gonna show me Storm again, you better show me Mohawk Storm.
I don't know. I kind of got tired of the one from what was it? The Dark Phoenix.
I have not seen Dark Phoenix.
Oh my god, I am so happy you haven't, because that's atrocious.
I saw
man.
New Mutants. I have not seen Dark Phoenix.
What'd you think of New Mutants? Because I saw the first 20 and I went to sleep. So,
if you didn't tell me it was a Marvel movie, I would be okay with it in a sense. I feel you wasted the Dream Bear. That storyline is fantastic. But I don't ever see how you were going to execute it anyways. I enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't pay to see it. I saw it for free.
The funny thing is, I avoided watching the New Mutants, and that Dark Phoenix, and decided to binge watch Legion in Hulu.
I gotta finish it.
I gotta finish it too. Aubrey Plaza is incredible in that show.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in that? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, she's great in White Lotus.
I love Dan Stevens as as Legion. Though he doesn't have that crazy hair, but he knows how to play this sort of lunatic, sort of trying to figure things out.
I'm only a
And
few episodes in. Do they even mention that he's Charles's son?
I believe around the final season, he goes back in time and sees a younger version of Charles, if I'm not mistaken.
Gotta watch Legion.
But yeah, they do bring him up into the series.
Is it McCoy or is it Stewart or is it just a
No,
random
it's
dude?
just a random
They
dude.
probably don't want to pay money for that. Oh, just to dial back just a little bit towards the Guardians. Majority of the team for the new Guardians is half CGI. You've got Cosmo, you got Groot, you got Rocket, you've got that gremlin thing that Adam brought. Are you okay with them not casting Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel again? Would you be okay with that?
No, I mean Vin Diesel fine, but Bradley did so good as Rocket.
He did, but there are plenty of voice actors out there who can mimic that voice.
But is it gonna be the same?
That is the question.
I don't know. I can't see anybody else. There was such a cockiness to. I think one particular scene where in volume 1 that I find genius, and I don't know. I felt like Bradley put a kind of spit on it. Was the scene where he's in when they're in the jail and they're sitting next to Gamora, and then he's like, it's like, yeah, some of these guys probably just want to get with you or something. And he was like, what? And he said, no, I got to, I heard them. They say they're very attracted to you. And just like that conversation. And then the one where, when they finally get the ship at the end of the film, and he says, how about if there's something that I want, and I steal it? I said, yeah, that's called, that's a felony. And I was like, no, but I want it more. You don't understand me. But I can't talk to this guy. Like just that sort of cockiness, and I don't know if you can find somebody as Bradley to pull that sort of thing off. It's just fun, yeah. It's like they put their sort of personality into these characters. Vin Diesel. I mean, it was just I'm Groot. And his voice was altered even probably when he's doing the young Groot. So it's like I can't even really tell.
They probably have hours of him saying I am Groot.
So. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny how a lot of people didn't connect the dots when he said we are a family at the end, because it's like we understand him. Hello, like
we're a part of it now. A lot of people are like, oh, he could speak other words. No, he can't. You just understand it now. It's a fantastic. I absolutely love this variant. It's from 2014. It's forget the storyline that's a part of, but it's Jean Grey and Groot on the cover of a comic, and Groot is saying I am Groot, and then behind him is everything he's actually saying to Jean in like a word bubble, and Jean is reading it because mine, and it's fantastic. It's I am fascinated with you. You are elegant and beautiful, and like this huge thing where he's like basically confessing his love to her, but all he's saying is I am Groot. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at that one.
I think it's an all new X-Men.
All new X-Men. Let me write that down. Kind of going back, even though we went a little off tangent. Or was it Order of the Phoenix? Yeah, that was. I mean,
Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix.
Yes. Did you watch Apocalypse? By the way,
I watched Apocalypse. I mean, Olivia Munn was in it, so.
Fair. What'd you think of that?
On Mulaney, that bastard.
Yes. I mean, he did his time. No, I didn't mind Apocalypse. I thought it was a waste of Oscar Isaac, but he's definitely redeemed himself twice over, Moon Knight and Spider-Man 2099 now. Yes, he was Apocalypse in that movie.
Not even Poe as Star Wars?
Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't hate Apocalypse. I hated what they did to the Marauders. I hated what they did to the Morlocks, not the Marauders, the Morlocks. Because Psylocke wasn't a Morlock. But overall, I kind of grouped it in the same vein as Last Stand, which is it's better than it should have been, but not as good as it needed to be.
Yeah. It's funny because once you go into the X-Men series, you go into the first one was okay. It was sort of the first X-Men film.
It was the first Marvel film.
Yeah, and then came part 2, and then I was like, okay, this is great. Just seeing Nightcrawler coming in, just the entire first sequence of just Nightcrawler popping up, beating the crap out of everybody in the White House was phenomenal.
I was so happy as a child. Yeah.
Then when part 3 came out, I was like, it was a lot of moments where I was like, why are you killing off all these characters? Are we not going to see a series, like a part 4 coming out, or what's happening? Like, it's just
the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah, oh my god, there was cringy moments in that. It's just like I wanted to hold the Fox X-Men cartoon so tight. Like, no, you stand as the best cartoon.
We're getting
X-Men
more. We're getting more.
Yeah, and then I think X-Men First Class was pretty great for an origin story. It was enjoyable to see that dynamic between Magneto, and Charles, and just there was like so much emotion there, and there's so much character. It was such a great dynamic.
I was rewatching it at the gym because they have you go into like the treadmill and they have a movie playing. Anyways, I was rewatching it a low key. I don't know. I'm not trying, but it kind of looked like Charles and Magneto kind of had like a relationship that we didn't really see. You know what I'm saying? It looked like Charles was a little more vicarious, I feel like. It's just the way he was acting, the way he sat. I'm not saying I'm not trying to stereotype or anything like that, but I'm just.
Oh, you really need to see Graham Norton's episode where they have Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy did a lot of fan girl type thing in putting them into a relationship. It's like you see it too. A lot of people saw it.
But it kind of makes sense though, because then now I'm thinking of like the Dumbledore and Grindelwald type of kind of.
Well, I think Charles was
always infatuated with him though.
He had that gravitas to it in a sense, because that is what you need to make Magneto happy. You need to see him as the greatest thing ever, and Charles understood that. Charles knew that aiding him the best way he could was basically worshiping him in a sense.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents in that regard. But
yeah.
what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Oh, Days of Future Past.
Did I like where the two kind of series kind of connected and they talked to each other? Certain scenes were amazing, yes. Kind of sad they didn't use Bishop to his full potential.
Damn, they didn't use Bishop at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certain characters and certain actors that came back for their roles, I kind of liked.
Now, I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm trying to remember. Was that movie with the amazing Quicksilver scene?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, which one scene? Are you? Oh, yeah. Where he goes around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, certain scenes in movies are very good and well done, but I just wish the direction of certain movies went, in a different way. I mean, the ending for that.
I mean, Days of the Past wasn't comparing it to the series of movies that come after it. It wasn't that bad, you know. And as a geek who saw the old X-Men films and then bringing them with the new generation and putting them together was very nostalgic. Like, I was like, this is cool. I like this. This is interesting. You know, getting to see it back to back and the future and in the past and how they're colliding in some way. And you know, so to me, you know,
Oh no.
I do enjoy that one compared to the other films that I could actually sit down and watch it without having to feel like I don't want to see this anymore. Like that film I could actually sit and watch.
I just realized something. So with No Way Home happening, the first Marvel movie would have been Spider-Man in terms of everything that got grouped together, because you're now including the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man as Spider-Man. With Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and Xavier showing up in that movie,
Yeah.
that would make X-Men the first Marvel movie in canon.
Yeah.
Which means we did get an F-bomb in the Marvel Cinematic Universe before Guardians. Can you tell me what movie it is?
Which X-Men
it was
movie?
Days of Future Past. No?
Nope.
Was it First Class when Wolverine
Oh, no.
cursed?
First class. Yeah. No, it isn't?
Wolverine Origins. And he says to Sabretooth, I'm going to cut your fucking head off. If you're drawing all the dots, it would be Wolverine Origins.
Oh, you mean like timeline? I hate you.
Yeah, timeline. So, Leaf Schreiber, come back as Sabretooth, please.
Oh, man.
I did like him.
Actual chops as Sabretooth.
Yeah. I didn't know that the first Sabretooth in X-Men was actually a wrestler.
Was he?
Yes, that's what I've been told.
That was probably there was a lot of things in the first film. It was fun to see because it was an X-Men film, but it was like a lot of these characters like, wait, what's going on here? Who wrote it? Was like, why is he not written the way it should be written in the comics or in the cartoons? Why is Sabretooth with Wolverine? We get to finally see this live action movie and moment, and they don't know each other at all.
If you think about it, would you, or not if you think about it, do you think Wolverine Origins is very similar to Iron Man 3 in a way that it had it kind of built up to a very good story, but then the end it was just tragic in a way, because then it let you down really badly. And I'm not talking about just the fighting and the whole armor thing, but it just
the final sequence.
Just the final sequence is like having Deadpool just not talk. It's stupid as hell.
That was drop the ball hardcore.
Yeah,
this is funny because somebody said this. I never liked Iron, and they made more money than the other two films, and it was successful. But then just recently, somebody said Iron Man 3 is the best Tony Stark movie, and I was like, yeah, I agree, because we didn't get to see a lot of Iron Man series. Mm-hmm. It was just Tony Stark all the way.
It's fair.
It was still awful film. I couldn't. It's just.
I'd say Iron Man 2 is worse than Iron Man 3.
I don't know. I like Iron Man 2. Why do you hate it?
We got War Machine out of it. What else happened?
We got this guy as Whiplash.
Mikey Rourke as Whiplash. Okay.
That's really it.
Well,
we got Justin Hammer.
Oh, Justin Hammer. You can't go wrong with Justin Hammer. We lost you, Joey.
Gentlemen. We gotta wind down.
Oh, I got you. Joey, we lost you. Can't hear you no more.
Oh, boy.
Oh, we also got the suit in a suitcase. Oh.
Yeah, true. We got the mini arc reactor for the first time.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. There
Okay.
You go. You had to say something.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you were gonna say something.
No, I think Justin Hammer is appearing in one of the other films, right? Isn't it for the new
Armor Wars, I think that's what it
Armor
was.
Wars.
Armor Wars, I believe?
But is that
Yeah.
still going on?
Yeah,
Oh,
Wars is
no,
still happening.
I heard that it might be a film and not a show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
He also
There's some
showed
talk
up in
that
All Hail the King, which is one of my favorite Marvel one-shots ever.
Oh yes, he did. He was in the background, wasn't he?
He was in the
prison?
background
Yeah,
when
yeah.
Ben Kingsley was like basically running the prison, and then
Yes.
if we never got Shang-Chi, I would have been fine with knowing that there was a Mandarin somewhere.
No, I
Was
wanted to
actually
see the
the
Mandarin.
Mandarin.
No.
I did.
wanted
I
to
was
see
happy we got him. I was super happy we got him, 100%. But the way that they did it in All Hail to the King, like that made me beyond happy.
No,
And the
yeah.
way that they handled the Mandarin in Shang-Chi, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
expect the way that they were going
That dude was ruthless. That dude was ruthless. That entire sequence in the restaurant where he's just beating the crap out of everyone,
Yep.
that was just amazing.
And also, like, when he's sitting down with everyone, he's like, I've gone by many names. Some call me a Chinese dish because Mandarin. So,
Yeah. Anyways, with that being said, I'm glad that you joined us, Jeremiah. Where can we find you, meet you, see you?
you
stalk
can
you?
find me every so often on Panaloids. I am a co-host on Panaloids. Majority of the time, I'm there spewing stupid shit and correcting all the guys that get all the information wrong. You can find me on Instagram at the Rivera Collection, which is winding down. I am almost fully caught up to the man in terms of what I have showcased on that Instagram account versus what he's actually put out. I am only a few away. And we were chatting about it yesterday, which was really funny. So that's where you can find me. Panaloids on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and then on Instagram you can find me at the Rivera Collection.
Glad to have
Thank you guys so much for having me on again. I absolutely love coming on here.
Man.
It's always a blast. And we'll make this more regular,
Is that a
hopefully.
Daredevil tat?
Yeah, you
It is a
finally
Daredevil
got it.
tattoo.
Yeah, last time you
Nice.
didn't have it.
Oh, yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's my birthday card.
Yeah. You showed it to us. Yeah, you showed it to us.
Yeah.
Glad you have it now.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but if you can see it, you got to tell me what this tattoo is.
It's a Wanda, and it's Wanda, and I don't know. Oh, Quicksilver, duh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my sister wanted to get matching tattoos, and so she's got Wanda's crown in the front with a green lightning bolt in the back to symbolize when they were younger, when Quicksilver wore this green costume, and then I got it in the front when Quicksilver was older and wore his blue costume. Yeah, me and my sister have matching
cool
Wanda and Peter.
Nice.
Yeah, I was gonna do the Powerpuff Girls because I have two sisters, so Blossom and Buttercup or whatever, and then I'll be like the dude.
Dude, you should totally do that.
I don't know where I would put it. Maybe my calf or something like that. So I'm just hitting.
Yeah, do it on your ankle. All three of you get it on your ankle.
Yeah, might as well. We'll see what happens. Anyways, thank you so much,
Joey. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. Love to have you
Talk
here.
to you guys soon.
Yes, we'll do. Peace.